everybody, welcome back to your favorite, my favorite, Jason's favorite show, the Wealth Advisory's Top Stocks to Buy. We're on to the top 10 for June 2024. We're getting like close to halfway through the year. It's been a pretty interesting year too.
It's only going to get more interesting.
It is. It's only going to get more interesting. We got that presidential election coming up. That's going to be fun. That'll be really interesting to see. I don't know. It's sporty out there, you know. We had a crazy month in April. The markets just like tanked, and then May, you know, they came back. We've got, I think, 3 triple-digit gains in the top 10 from last month. We beat the Dow, we beat the S&P, but the Nasdaq just like soared with all of those tech stocks in it and the AI stocks and Nvidia adding. It's an $1,100 company now, $1,100 stock. They're going to do a stock split, bring it down to $100 to hopefully bring more investors in. It's just been crazy. So we beat most of the markets. The Nasdaq just was like a fluke. I don't know. It was huge. It was up like 4% this past month. So we didn't quite get that. But we had those double-digit gainers that really helped us out and beat the other markets. And we're back again to do another list. And it looks like a pretty good list. I think we've got a good chance to keep some momentum going. It's, like I said, pretty interesting out there, but we've got the Fed coming out. We've got the Fed's favorite inflation indicator coming out, the PCE index, which is Personal Consumption Expenditure, I think is what that stands for. And it's just another, inflation calculation where they, they add a lot of math equations to it, basically, to make it look a little bit better. And they're expecting that to be in a 2% range, a 2% handle, so that's a good thing. That means that they're doing stuff. They're expecting core PCE, which is where they strip out, this is my favorite, they strip out energy and food, because who spends money on those on a regular basis? And they're expecting that to be lower than last month and lower than the previous year too. So all good things, all things that could point to a Fed rate cut or could point to more dovish commentary from the Fed. That's likely to sort of change the tone of the markets. They've been falling the past couple of days, but it's a very event-driven market right now, and there's lots of events going on to drive it. So, but let's get into the list. Before I do, as I do every month, I just want to explain that if you're watching this on YouTube, what we're going to do is we're going to run through the first 4 picks, and then we're going to cut it off because this is actually a service that we provide to our paying subscribers. We don't think it'd be fair to give away for free something that we charge them for access to. But if you'd like to join them and join us, we highly recommend it. We'll give you a discounted link in the description below the video. And with your membership, you'll get far more than just the top 10. Every month, obviously, you will get access to the full top 10, monthly issues, every report we've ever written, all of the analysis we put out, access to our model portfolio of 30-plus investments that we're currently recommending. It's really well worth the price, and I highly recommend that you join. But if you don't, as I always say, we won't hold it against you. All we ask is that you keep coming back, watching these videos, clicking the thumbs up button, and hitting the bell to make sure you're notified when we put out more. And obviously subscribing to our channel so that they know that you want to be notified of our videos. So do that, and we'll keep putting these out as long as you want to watch them. But if you want to join us, I highly recommend it. Jason highly recommends it, and tens of thousands of other investors highly recommend it too, because they're already members. So with that being said, let's get into the list and get to what you're really here to see, which is our top stocks for June. And we'll start off with my first pick. This is my number 5 stock. And going a little bit different here. My list is kind of like all over the place this month, but they all have a trend, and it's that they all outperformed heavily last month. And first up, I have Americold Realty Trust. Ticker symbol is COLD. And Americold is, this pick is all about momentum and the past month's performance. It's picking up momentum. Analysts are starting to see the value in its operations and its strong balance sheet. The market's also starting to get excited for the IPO of a similar company, Lineage Logistics. Now, Lineage is actually like twice as big as Americold. So these would be the number 1 and number 2 players in the market once Lineage goes public. But Americold's getting some renewed interest from that too, because public investors, retail investors are seeing, this IPO price being bid up and seeing this IPO process happen and wondering how they can get a piece of the market. And Americold is the best way to get a piece of that market. Shares are up over 17%, or around 17%, sorry, over the past month. And, I think they could give us another market-beating gain in June. So, if this momentum holds, definitely. If the Fed signals more dovishness, as I said in the introduction there, it's really going to be off to the races. So I'm going to put them in as my number 5 pick, our number 10 pick, Americold Realty. Okay. And so with that, I will pass the buck to Jason, and he'll give us his first pick.
All right, yeah, this one kind of comes out of left field, too. This is Alliance Resource Partners. It's ARLP. And I chose this one because coal's actually been sneaky good over the past few months. And that's because and this is a company that primarily, they're the largest coal supplier on the East Coast, in the eastern part of the United States. So, that's what we're kind of getting into here. But demand for both energy and steel are rising. Global steel demand is expected to rise by 1.7% to 1.8 billion metric tons this year, and then further increase in 2025. And what's funny is what's going on in China right now is that they're having incredibly high demand for coal, for steel, so much so that their domestic prices are higher than what they're paying to import it. So now they're importing coal from places like the United States because it's actually cheaper for them than buying it domestically. Imported seaborne grades are up, or actually China's seaborne imports, thermal coal rose 17% in the first quarter. So that's a significant amount of import increase. And then on top of that, domestically, we've talked a lot about the need for more energy in the United States, particularly driven by data centers, which are soaking up a ton of demand. A lot of times we talk about this with respect to nuclear energy and the kind of energy that we're going to need to supply going forward as we get more AI and more computer learning, machine learning, and all those programs that use up all this data and information and thus more power. So, but until that happens, until we get nuclear, until we get renewable resources online, we're still leaning really heavily on coal. And so that's why I've got Alliance Resource Partners here to start.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. It was a mover last month, too. I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that, while maybe, demand for transportation fuels might fall, demand for other fuels, with AI, with cryptocurrency mining. I mean, I was reading something about how cryptocurrency miners, basically they have to sell 50% of all of the cryptocurrency that they mine just to pay the electric bill.
Yeah.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah, and coal is kind of the forgotten cousin at this point because it does have, this stigma, I guess, about it in terms of, climate and all that stuff, and it's one of these things we want to pivot away from. And yet it is still really a staple for energy production.
It is definitely, especially in China, countries like India also. India imports and burns a ton of coal. Well, millions of tons of coal to be specific.
And demand is going up in India and China. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I like it. I think that's a really good one. Basically on the entire other side of the energy spectrum is my next pick, which is Ballard Power Systems, our play on hydrogen fuel cells, and hydrogen fuel cells playing a big role in heavy-duty transportation. We've already seen a lot of countries and a lot of companies rolling out buses that are powered by hydrogen fuel cells, trains, ferries, even heavy-duty trucks, which, I've shared pictures of those. And Ballard is supplying a lot of these fuel cells and a lot of the engines that the fuel cells run on. They also provide kits that allow people to basically like retrofit. So you could retrofit a diesel or a battery-powered, say, forklift and turn it into a hydrogen-powered one. Which is much nicer as far as the diesel ones go for the people working in the warehouse breathing in the vapors and fumes, because water smells a whole lot better than exhaust. And before I get any further, Ballard's ticker is PLDP. Didn't want my dyslexia coming in there and mixing those letters up. But it's another stock that's been on fire this past month in a good way. Shares rose over 20%. Investors got to see earnings in line with estimates. Revenues continue to grow year over year. It's also benefiting from the strength in just the renewable power market, as the Biden administration's been sort of sparring with China over proposed tariffs and trade restrictions. The whole U.S. solar industry, really the whole U.S. renewable power market has been benefiting sort of from that as investors try and gauge, who's gonna benefit the most from this. this trade battle that's currently going on. And again, if the Fed telegraphs rate cuts at its next meeting, then the market is really quickly going to turn into a hot one, and that's going to benefit smaller stocks like Ballard the most. So as our number 8 pick this month, my number 4 pick, I'm going with Ballard Power, BLDP. And let's see what Jason's got for us next. I think it's a good one.
Yeah. Well, anyone who knows me knows I love a good defense contractor, and this is one of the best.
It is a great one.
If one of the lesser-known guys. It's not one of the top 5, but it's a really, really important company. And they've signed some huge contracts over the past few months. Going back to December, they signed a $700 million deal with the NSA. To do what? I can't tell you because the NSA won't tell me. We don't know, but they're paying them $700 million to do it. They filed that under Technology, Tools, and Techniques. On top of that, they just signed a 10-year, $631 million contract to provide the Army. They're going to cover Project Diablo. And what that's going to do is provide sensors for spy planes. So they're working on that too. And then finally, they're working on unmanned autonomous supply vehicles. So basically drones that can refuel planes by themselves autonomously, or refuel also ground equipment. They can basically get fuel out to forward theaters with these drones. They're going to use them as, kind of powder monkeys. So they're working on a lot of great stuff, and you've seen it in both the earnings and the stock. The stock is up 84.25% over the past year. Its last earnings report, revenues were up 7% to $4 billion. Net income up 73% to $283 million or $2.07 per share. They had net bookings of $7.3 billion for the quarter. They even upgraded their guidance to $8.40 a share to $8.80 a share, up from $7.50 to $7.90. So they actually raised guidance across all metrics. And so you really can't go wrong with Leidos right now. They're going to continue to follow out a strong year. We talk about global conflict. We know what's going on in the Middle East. We know what's going on in Ukraine. We know that the world is arming up. And Leidos is one of these companies that's out there for technology. They're, a leader, and they're not one that's on the top of everybody's mind the same way a company like Lockheed Martin is. But like I said, 84% return over the past year and still growing for Leidos.
It's a great one, man. And I'll tell you what, I don't know about anybody else out there, but ever since we added it to the model portfolio, I can't help but seeing the Leidos logo on those TSA body scanners.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Every time I go through, I'm like, oh man, what a great company. What a horrible process here, but what a great company. So there you guys have it. That's our first 4. Let's go through a little recap here, and then we're going to cut things off for those of you on YouTube. And, like I said, please, I encourage you to click the link below and grab your discounted membership to the Wealth Advisory. It comes with a lot more than just our top 10, and it's well worth the price. But obviously, if you don't want to, we're going to continue to do this for you for as long as you want to watch it. So anyway, let's do the recap, and then we'll let you get on with your day. First up for me, our number 10 pick, Americold Realty Trust. It's a real estate investment trust. It owns refrigerated food storage, basically, refrigerated warehouses. And so those can be used not just for food storage, but a lot of medicines have to be kept at certain temperatures. It is one of the biggest players, currently the biggest publicly traded player in a very fractured market. We've got another big company coming to market that seems to be stirring up interest in the whole industry, and I think Americold's going to continue to benefit from that. Next up at number 9.
Yeah, like I said, so the demand for both types of coal, metallurgical and thermal coal, to make steel and generate power, respectively, going up. Demand for energy in general is increasing more rapidly than we can really handle, and that's going to keep coal in the picture for a lot longer than I think a lot of people might want to see it there.
I think that's a good one. Coming up next at number 8, Ballard Power Systems. Basically on the other side of the energy spectrum, making those hydrogen fuel cells to help power heavy industry. It's seen a lot of interest recently, and if the Fed signals dovishness, I think that it could really jump this month. And finally, coming in at number 7.
Yeah, Leidos, an awesome technology supplier for military applications. Like I said, they've signed deals with the NSA, with the Army, their Air Force. They're all over the place. They're doing a lot of great stuff, whether it's spy planes, data collection, autonomous drones refueling, warfighting platforms. All of these things Leidos is doing, and they're doing a tremendous job of it.
They just excel at all of them too. They really do. So there you have it, guys. There's our first 4 picks. And as I said, for those of you watching on YouTube, we're going to go ahead and let you get back to your business. If you'd like to join us and get the rest of the picks, click the link in the description below, grab your discounted membership. You'll get access to all of our reports, all of our research, our full model portfolio of recommendations, monthly issues. I mean, just so much more than just the top 10. But honestly, the top 10 is probably worth it. If you don't want to, though, we'll keep making these for you. We just ask that you subscribe to our channel, hit the bell to make sure that you get notified when we post new content, and give us a thumbs up if you like it, And honestly, drop us a comment if you have questions, opposing points of view, want to tell us how handsome we are, whatever.
We're
feedback. Open to feedback, especially positive. So I hope everybody has a great month.
We're very fragile.
Just be nice, exactly. So I hope everybody has a good month. I hope we see some interesting comments below the video, and we'll see you next time. Take care.